Hello guys, Belle here. Going to be talking about the Frost DK and your artifact weapon. Your weapons rather, since you are dual wielding as a Frost DK. The name of your artifact weapon is going to be Blades of the Fallen Prince. You have your Frostreaper, and then of course for your secondary you have your Icebringer. Now it's important to note that there will be no weapon drops in Legion, so the artifact weapon, these weapons are going to be your source of strength throughout Legion to level up. They will level up with you in skill, so get comfortable because this is what you're looking for, and this is what you're going to be able to use. Now, another important item is you can actually transmog your artifact weapon, which is something different that we didn't see with the cape, where you couldn't transmog the cape. You actually have the ability to be able to transmog, and my assumption is because the weapon's an integral part of a person's look, I think they wanted people to be able to change the transmog on a whim to be able to have different types of weapon options. So you will have that ability. So that's going to be the kind of important stuff that I wanted to make sure that I did cover. You'll be able to access your weapon UI from your order hall for DKs, which of course is, as always, is the ebb and hold. You can also do shift click, and you'll be able to see your options here, with the exception of the appearances. You'll be able to see the option here. Now, you can't do anything with them. You could just see the traits that you have lined up here because doesn't give you the ability to be able to do it from here. You actually have to be at your little forger here. So let's talk a little bit about the artifact weapon. Now, as you see, for every trait purchased, you get a little bit of a buff. The more you unlock here with your artifact weapon, the better off you're really going to be here. The artifact weapons have traits. All these are going to be your major and minor traits. Obviously, the golden dragons are going to be your major traits, and then some of these here are going to be your more minor traits. They do have ranks. Some will only go up to rank 1. Others will go to rank 3. You'll use the relics here, which I'm going to tell you about those relics. Relics increase your weapon's item level, and they'll also unlock additional ranks for these traits. So you'll actually be able to acquire these relics. For these relics are different for every spec. So Frost and Shadow, as it were, for the Frost DK, you'll be able to socket these in here. That's going to increase your kind of all your stuff all the way around, as well as unlock your ranks, because you want the max of each rank available, so you have the max percentage of what that's going to do for you. Now, for every weapon, everybody has one usable. So one usable ability on their weapon that's going to be their special. That's going to be, in some cases, it can be considered an oh shit button. In some cases, it can be considered part of a burst rotation, just depending on the cooldown, and what it actually does is it's different, of course, for each weapon. So I wanted to make sure I talked about that first, because the instant ability that you guys have here, although it does have a 5-minute cooldown, it's Sindragosa's Fury. Now this does summon Sindragosa, who breathes frost on all enemies within 40 yards in front of you, dealing a lot of frost damage and slowing enemy movement speed by 50%. Now I gotta tell you that for your base damage, or your base stats here at level 110, wearing PvP gear with all your traits unlocked, you're looking at 102k damage. That's spread damage. So if you've got a giant mob of things, that's an extreme amount of damage, which I'm assuming is why it's on a 5-minute cooldown, because it is rather overpowered there. But let's get into your traits here, so that we can, I want to also dive into the appearances so that we can look at the different appearances as well. So we'll start here with the crystalline swords. This goes up to rank 1. You should also know all these are passive abilities. Your melee attacks have a chance to create copies of Icebringer and Frostreaper, which will then stab and pierce your foes. You have Blades of Frost. This is rank 1 as well. It can't go any higher. This does increase your attack speed by 8%. You also have Blast Radius. This goes up to rank 3, increases damage dealt by Howling Blast by 30%. Since this does go up in rank 3, you can probably bet that your base percentage here is probably going to be 10%. You probably expect increases of 10 for those increments for the 3. You also have Chill of the Grave. This only goes up to level 1, increases the range of Frost Strike by 8 yards. You have Ice in Your Veins. This goes up to rank 3. Death Strike heals for 300% more while Icebound Fortitude is active. Overpowered, this also goes up to rank 3. Obliterate has a 10% chance to generate 10 additional runic power. Then you have Frozen Soul. This only goes up to rank 1. When Remorseless Winter ends, your Icebringer and your Frostreaper released a burst of frost damage, increased by 100% for each additional enemy you hit with Remorseless Winter, which is pretty awesome. You also have Nothing But the Boots. This is a rank 3 passive ability, of course, because all these are passive. Increases critical strike damage done by Obliterate and Frost Scythe by 30%. You have Frozen Core. This only goes up to rank 1. Your Pillar of Frost also increases frost damage dealt by 6%. Your Frozen Skin, this does goes up to rank 3, increases your armor by 10%. So my assumption is when you start with rank 1, it's probably just a small percentage. You also have Dead of Winter. This goes up to rank 3. Increases damage dealt by Remorseless Winter by 15%. You have Hypothermia. This is actually one of my favorite names here for the Frost DK. Each time Frost Fever deals damage, it increases its damage increase by 10%. That's no small feat. 10% is a lot. You then have Ambidexterity. This does go up to rank 3, so it can increase in power there. Increases offhand weapon damage dealt by Frost Strike and Obliterate by 30%. You have Bad to the Bone, another awesome one. Increases the effective of your Razor Ice rune forge by 100%. You have Mirror Ball, passive anti-magic shell. This is passive. Your anti-magic shell also removes all harmful magic effects when activated. Pretty useful in PvP also would be my imagination. I'm pretty sure I already did. I don't know if I did the Cold as Ice, but Cold as Ice is rank 3, increases all frost damage you deal by 10%. And then, of course, you have your beautiful Sindragosa's Fury, which is pretty awesome. Now, I did, in my DK video, if you did see the Frost DK video, I'm 100% positive that I did use this ability so that you could see Sindragosa coming down and freezing. Pretty similar to Ashran when Sindragosa is used and comes down and freezes everybody. So, pretty neat there. So that's what you have as far as your traits. You also have this, which is your Soul Biter. Your Blade's Thirst for Souls, tearing away at the essence of those that strike. This increases all damage done by 0.5%. As you see, this costs an extreme amount of artifact power, which is what's important to your weapon here is going to be acquiring your artifact power. So going to be an additional resource for you to make this quite happy. Now let's dive right into your appearances. Now I do apologize for the DK because of where it's sitting inside this rune forger. It's not very good for being able to showcase the different appearances, but I'm going to do my best with all this blue around for you guys to be able to see what it looks like. Now as you see, there's several different versions you're going to be able to go through, and there's different things that you're going to have to do to unlock the different versions. For these are going to be specific questline achievements that you're going to have to go through to be able to get the different colors. I don't know how good we're going to be able to see it because of the blue, but going to be able to give you as much as I can. The Frostmourn's Legacy, which is going to be a completely different look. This you unlock when you complete the Death Knight Class Hall campaign quest lines. As you see, it does beef it up. They give you the base of what these things look like so that you can work all expansion towards acquiring some of these different looks. Then this you get for unlocking all the artifact traits. This you get for research, which researching your artifact weapon is essentially where you're drawing your artifact power from to be able to unlock traits. And then that's sort of like a light blue. Now for the Sindragosa's Fury, this you have to complete quest lines as well as do challenge modes using a level 15 keystone, which I'm going to be doing a video on the challenge modes using the keystones just because that has changed dramatically on how we're going to approach challenge mode dungeons in Legion. So I'll be doing a separate video on that, so be looking out for that in the future. And then the Glory of the Legion Hero. So the Sindragosa's Fury is going to be a little bit harder to contend with because some of this stuff's not going to be easy. So you guys asked for more content. We definitely got it. But totally worth it in my opinion, because I think the augmentation done to it with adding the Sindragosa's Fury is pretty legit. And then you have, of course, the appropriate Legion Green, your orange, which is more of a fire in my opinion, and then of course your yellow. Now, let me tell you my favorite part about the weapon appearances. Nothing says I want to be separated more like I'm a PvPer, right? We've all been there, guys. PvPers want that outside of being on the ladders and outside of being a PvPer, we want that being known for PvP. Because we're going to be using the artifact weapons in PvP, it's nice that Blizzard's giving us a special view of our weapon for prestiging, which is going to be the new way you're going to deal with your PvP system, which once again, I'll be doing a video on the PvP and each spec for PvP as well once these artifact weapon videos are done. So it's really nice that we're going to get the distinguishing factor here, especially those of us that are pretty serious with PvP and plan on utilizing the prestige to be able to unlock things that make us different. So that's the version if you, which the Gravekeeper, that's the version if you are a PvPer and you unlock it. Hopefully it'll come around here. It is a little bit slow. I wish I could pause it, but not the case. So you get these beautiful views when you prestige in the different things that you unlock for leveling your prestige a certain amount of time. So this is great because you get different things for different people. If you're PvE, you know, your Sindragosa's Fury is going to be your thing. These two, the Frostmourne Legacy and the original version, that's going to be pretty much everybody because it's doing things that you're already doing in Legion. So I really, really appreciated Blizzard's attention to detail when it comes to what they chose to do here. Well, that is your look at your artifact weapon as a Frost DK. If you're new to PWNCAST, make sure you give, that was pretty funny. If you're new to PWNCAST, make sure you give this, give PWNCAST channel a subscribe if you want to stay up to date with all the Legion news. If you main other classes, have no fear. I'm going through all the specs for the artifact weapon. Don't forget to check out my videos on the talent and spell preview for each specialization that's on the channel on a playlist as well. If you're here watching my video, do us a favor and hit that like button. You're already here. You might as well like the video. You don't have to like the class to enjoy what I do, but I do work really hard for these videos and likes are always appreciated. As always, give me a comment on anything that you see as far as what it means to be a Frost DK with this artifact weapon. Love hearing your guys' feedback. I love reading your guys' comments. So if you have any questions as well, make sure you ask them on the channel, and I will always make sure you get a response at, might not be today, but it'll definitely be a moment for you to get a response. But I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here, guys, because I have tons more videos to do. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.